The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, Chris Moss, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're not going to believe this. I was on Facebook the other day. Last week, it was 7 years since your debate. For Chemung County Executive.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you know it because you're living it, but to see those pictures and to think of that, what a wild time that was.
That was a wild time. And then the pandemic came, and it's just it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, it really has. So you're running for re-election. What's it been like these last 7-8 years?
You know what? It's obviously different from being the county sheriff, which I was for 13 years. Relationship with the legislature, obviously, at times could be back and forth. Yeah. But you know what? I think that's where you have a benefit of two different branches of government. Mm-hmm. I see it one way. They may see it another way. Sure. You go back and forth and try and come up with a compromise. But it's been really busy. I mean, a couple of things we did get term limits through. That was very important to me. We have a fund balance policy that we never had before, which means in our fund balance we have to have at least 17% of our annual budget, no higher than 25%.
Sure.
So we got that written into local law.
That's
so
great.
There's been some good things going, but like I said, my original intent was to run for 2 terms, but the pandemic really sucked out 3-4 years. So I am going to run one more time.
Oh, great. And that term limit, was there a lot of pushback on that? Because that's a great idea.
You know what? My first 4-year term, I couldn't get it through the legislature, but this legislature put it up for a local law, and it overwhelmingly passed. So the legislatures can run for 3 4-year terms, and the county executive can run for 3 4-year terms.
Perfect. And this would be your 3rd term?
This would be my 3rd term, but it didn't start until January of last term. But one more, I should be able to accomplish everything I want to get
then you got it all
at
done.
least as county executive.
That's right. Oh, by the way, I saw the pictures. How was trick-or-treat at the mall?
Holy cow, it was packed.
They
had hundreds of kids up there.
They had them out of Market Street like
every
that,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, depending on the events, the sheriff and I try and get out throughout the county. I mean, we hit every town, the city, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But it was a busy last couple of weeks. A lot of trunk-or-treats going on.
I know.
A lot of kids out there, so it's a good thing.
Yeah. So when you decided to run for re-election, I just saw the picture and I got sidetracked. I wanted to start with that. But what are some of your proudest accomplishments when you look back at it?
When I look back, I do have to, as county executive, term limits was big. I ran on that.
Right. I
also ran on taxes. We've been able to keep the taxes stabilized and decent. I mean, it's tough not to cut services when everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, payroll, health insurance, buying trucks, 10-wheel dump trucks, everything is more expensive. So, it's a balancing act of, where do we come up with the funding, and you try not to keep going back to the taxpayer. And sales tax revenue is really our only other source of, revenue, and it's been flat throughout the southern tier. I watched the Catskill region, Capital region, it's increased a little bit, but we're having a hard time keeping up. So even right now, I think we're about probably between $500,000 to $1 million off what we projected for 2025.
Well, are you concerned about, obviously there's going to be cuts from the Trump administration in New York, and of course that all trickles down to the county level. Are you concerned about that? Or are you
cautiously concerned, but I think a lot of the problem is it's so political. The Democrats throw out, it's going to be the end, it's going to be the end. Everybody gets ready. It's just like the SNAP benefits.
Right.
We want to make sure people knew where to go to get food, if they need food pantries or and so forth. But at the end of the day, it looks like it's going to pan out. And my guess is after Tuesday's election, hopefully they'll get back together and end this shutdown.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is political, so I don't see any one thing that's in Trump's plan that's going to hurt us significantly in this area. But all you can do is just keep an eye out, and hope the state's being forthright and let you know ahead of time, because sooner or later it always trickles down to local government.
Right. And when you've got 4 more years, what are some of the issues you see that you'll have to face in those 4 years?
We have a sewer district project. It's the biggest infrastructure project in Chemung County's history.
Oh, wow.
It's on the verge of $300 million. So we're consolidating 2 of the sewer districts from Elmira to Horseheads, and it's running down a new pipe down the Chemung River, and it will all be processed at the Milton Street plant. So Allie Rennie is our superintendent of the sewer district. She's done a phenomenal job. I mean, we have dozens of contractors up there, and she's put all this together. So it's working well. DEC says we have to have it completed by December of 26. So hopefully we're on target. Otherwise, it's big fines every day. We moved the district attorney's office into the old Marine Midland building, HSBC building, 150 Lake Street. So we're in the process of rehabbing that entire building to move more county offices over there. So that's another thing we're working on. The sheriff's office is out of space. It was out of space when I was there. It's
Right.
certainly out of space now for evidence offices. The deputies are shoved into the basement along with CID, so we're working on a plan to fix that too. So I think 4 more years will take me right to the finish line.
That's perfect. Have you found, I know we talked with Sheriff Schramm about this, trouble hiring and finding people to work at the county?
We have, not only at the sheriff's office, but countywide, especially since the pandemic. One of the things, everybody wants to work from home.
I know,
I think
they sure
they got
do.
used to being able to work from home. I think we identified maybe just a couple of jobs where you could work from home, but unfortunately, the majority of municipal jobs, you need to be, at your desk and in your seat. So it is hard. At any given time, we have 140 to 160 openings in Chemung County. The state is trying to fix that with a program called the HELPS program, and what it does is does away with the civil service testing.
Okay.
So anybody,
that move.
if you meet the qualifications, you put in your resume, you sign up for it, and we can hire you immediately.
That's great.
But you have to have that approved through the state level. So we have 17 titles right now. We're waiting for the state to get back to us to tell us if they'll allow those titles to become those that we can just hire instantly. But it is tough recruiting. On the sheriff's end, I'm sure you talked to him about it, but background checks are tough coming back with the way we need them. But all across the board, like I said, 140 to 160 vacancies at any given time every month, and they're tough to fill.
Well, I know with the sheriff's office, because both sheriffs have talked about it, there's almost competition between the counties, and then you even have at the local level, Corning and like that.
It is. It's
making
tough.
it difficult.
As soon as somebody gets a raise, the other department wants. I mean, we're in negotiations right now with the sheriff's unit, both civilian and road patrol, to get those contracts settled. But a year and a half ago, when the city of Elmira gave a 30% pay increase or 29% pay increase to the city cops, it makes it hard for Horseheads, the Heights, the town of Elmira, the sheriff's office. We don't have 29% to give those pay increases, but to sit across the table and tell those men and women that we don't have that, especially when we supplement salaries at the city of Elmira, it's tough to do.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention, because I know recently in the news there was the battle, kind of, if you will, with shared service agreements. Could you tell us a little bit where that's at?
Certainly. So 10 years ago, my predecessor, Tom Santulli, entered into a shared service agreement with the city of Elmira because at that time, it was something we needed to do. The county needed to keep a bigger share of the sales tax revenue. We have an airport, we have a nursing facility, and what happened was the county entered into multiple shared services agreements with the city to try and offset some of the financial loss they'd received from sales tax. But it was 10 years ago. So, I mean, you know what? Tom did what he had to do 10 years ago.
Sure.
Chris Moss has to do what he needs to do now. And to be honest with you, it's not a shared service.
Yeah.
It's the county taking on $1.5 million in salary and fringe for the city's DPW department.
Wow.
So, it's time for them. So my idea was, you know what, you guys need to start taking your DPW department back. So I offered them a plan to take it back financially over a 4-year period. We'd keep the fringe, they'd have to pay the salary.
Right.
They didn't like that.
No.
So they went to the legislature and tried to broker a deal with the legislature, which started another issue between the legislature and the executive branch because the resolution said that the county executive has the right to enter into the agreement. So there was a part of the agreement that said we could abolish it by either party with a 6-month notice. So I sent them a notice telling them as of January 1st, 2026, it would be abolished unless they wanted to enter into a new agreement where they start taking over in stages the payroll.
Does it look like they're going to do in stages, or?
Well, if they don't, I guess they won't have a DPW. January
Yeah,
1st.
I guess so.
No, I mean, seriously, we're trying to negotiate it out, but Frank, I'll tell you, we can't, they're trying to hold me to an agreement that was fostered 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's time to redo that agreement. Obviously, we're not going to leave them without, if the county ends up having to plow roads, that's what we'll do.
Right.
We can't let those services go, unattended for the residents of the city of Elmira. But on the other hand, you can't give a 30% pay increase to your police officers and then have the county fund your DPW, and now I have to tell my people I can't pay you the same. They just don't get that logic. But believe me, when I sit across the table at negotiation time, I get the logic.
Yeah, I'm sure. Also, one thing I know that's always a hot topic that we've discussed in the past is the arena.
Oh, my goodness.
You knew I had to ask.
The arena, you have to
Where
ask.
are we at? Where are we at?
Well, you know what? It looks like Mark Stemmerman has stepped up to the plate. He's going to be taking over the arena. I think that's great. I'm friends with Mark, been friends with Mark for years. Although I'll tell you right off, I told him, Mark, don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No kidding.
tons of people have done it. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a money pit. It truly is. Over the last 2.5 years, the IDA thought that they'd go ahead and bring a hockey team in. So they've $3 million out of their fund balance is gone. That's what it's cost them to run this team. But you know what? They want to make it look like it's been a success. Yeah. If you look at the numbers, it's not a success. I'm not anti-arena. I'm not anti-hockey. I've had season tickets with many of the different teams that have been there. But at the end of the day, the arena doesn't belong in government hands. No. I wish Mark the best of luck, but we got to get it out of the IDA's hands. Unfortunately, that's been another bone of contention with the chairman of the legislature, because he's also the chairman of the IDA. He has a philosophy, to make it work, and that's fine. I don't think, it's two different philosophies. I don't think it belongs in government. He thinks he could save it. Hopefully what they've done is okay, but the one thing that I am bothered by is that they're trying to make it look like they've sold it.
Right.
But they haven't sold it. What they did is they signed an agreement with Mr. Stemmerman. Mr. Stemmerman provides hockey. The IDA pays him $40,000 per month for 5 years.
Wow.
There was 4 years left on that deal.
Yeah.
The IDA doesn't have the money to pay him. So they're giving him the arena in return for him letting him out of that contract, which equates to $1.7 million. So they're making it look like a sale like that.
Yeah.
It's not. Just tell the truth. Be accurate with the citizens and say,
Yeah.
hey, this is what we're doing. We have to do it. Don't make it look like it's been some success when it's not, because it's going to be hard for him. I wish him the best of success, but it's tough
struggle.
because people won't support it.
No.
They all jump on Facebook and say, go to the arena, go to the arena. Why are you against the arena? And then you see a game and there might be 500-600 people there, and it seats 3,000, 3,500. So we've got to find a way to either spark the interest again. When the Jackals were there, it was new.
Yeah,
Everybody loved
exciting.
it. But you know how it is when things wear off and get different. People
A couple bad years.
They go away.
Yeah.
And it's tough. But you know what? There's some good things happening in downtown Elmira, so I think the arena could definitely be a centerpiece of that. So I wish Mark the best of luck.
There has been a lot of success when it comes. Just driving through Elmira not that long ago, it's looking really good.
It is. They're doing a lot of things. And Jim Capriati, you got to take your hat off to him. And I know Mike Cruzen works for Jim, and I can tell you that Mike's always been a smart guy. But I know he had a vision probably 12 years ago, and I still have an email he sent me on it of what they wanted to do to downtown. And I don't know if you've seen where the old Deister Butler is, what they're doing in there. It's going to be a new restaurant, sports type of.
It's great.
It looks fabulous. I mean, that's just what downtown needs. It's a stone's throw away from the arena. So I mean, I think there's big things
There's
happening.
life, and it's
There
great.
is. There
Did
is.
you think when I first interviewed you when you were running for this 7 years ago, did you think you'd still be talking about the arena?
You know what? I did, because
Yeah.
what is it? The arena's been 20, 25 years, and it's just gone from owner to owner to owner, and it's tough. But I mean, this is the second time we've had the IDA try and run a hockey team without success. But you know what? Private folks have also run it without success. But all you have to do is look at the history of what it costs. It costs money. If you want to spend that money, in my opinion, $3 million of the fund balance of the IDA, what if we want to buy a piece of property immediately to broker some type of big deal?
Right.
That's money that's gone. I mean, the IDA they're a stone's throw away from having to sell some of their assets to build back their fund balance. And we shouldn't, our IDA shouldn't be in that position.
No.
It's the exact opposite as to Ben County.
Now, looking ahead, because I always like to ask you this because, of course, you ran for lieutenant governor. What do you think about the gubernatorial race next year?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's shaping up to give us a shot.
I do too.
Truly do. I think we did very well with Lee Zeldin, and I think we can do great. I know Elise.
Yeah.
I met her in 2014. We stayed in touch.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter, so I can't wait till she makes her announcement so I can be one of the first county executives to endorse her.
I know.
But I think it's going to be a big year next year.
I do too, and you can hear the excitement. I was talking with Joe Sempolinski about this the other day. It's the first time in a while where you hear people actually talking like, is she going to get in? Is she going to get in? There's that excitement. And Republicans, it's always a struggle right from the beginning where she already has some of the name recognition.
It is, and I think we've cleared the field. There's no primary. We don't have to worry
thank
about that.
heavens.
So, I mean, she's been talking about it for 12 months.
I know.
We've got
Get
12
in
months to
there.
go. So I'm hoping, what, this is going to be I think it's one of our best chances.
I do too, and supposedly she's going to announce very soon. That's what
She
they're
is.
saying. Right after the election in the city. Can you imagine that in the city? That mayor's race?
That is just, you know what? I think it benefits Republicans.
I do too.
No matter who wins.
Yeah. Because if you think even if Mamdani wins, Stefanik can use that. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
for
I
the
can't
whole
wait to see
year.
state-run grocery stores and free bus transportation,
Yeah.
and those are all things that would be great to have. We have to pay for these programs.
Right.
I can tell you, I mean, we're somewhat a conservative county, obviously in Chemung, but it is hard to pay for services.
Exactly.
It truly is. So how you can do some of those things, I don't know, and it doesn't even sound like the governor's in line with him on some of those proposals.
No, but for her to endorse him,
yeah, I mean that's all political.
it is because
That's
she doesn't
political.
want someone from the far left. But he won't endorse back, so I think there's still a possibility she gets primaried by somebody other than her lieutenant governor.
He's a smart guy too.
He is.
I've met him.
Yeah.
He's very personable.
Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't have the money that it's going to take.
No, and they're
She's
not
gonna
giving
have
the
money.
coverage.
No, she'll be the candidate. But you know what? I like Elise Stefanik's
I do too.
chances
I do
better
too.
than Molinaro,
yeah.
better than
Oh,
Esther.
yeah.
I mean, I think she's got a good chance.
Well, she just starts with that name recognition right out the gate, where even Zeldin, look how hard he had to work almost a year in advance to get his name out there. Did a great job at the end. He's doing a great job at the EPA. But Republicans have always had that name recognition problem.
I thought he may come back and try it again.
I kind of did too.
I mean, that's what we talked about back in 2014.
Yeah.
This year is the grow our name year.
Yeah.
And we come back and win, then we come back and run an 18, but
Yeah.
it just didn't pan out like that. But I'm hoping you're right. Name recognition will go far, and if she can get the money.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yep.
Well, that's just about it. Once we start getting into politics like that, I better move on, right?
You better move
is
on,
Is there
yeah.
anything
Yeah.
else before we go? What are you
No.
looking forward to for the next 4 years? Or the next? How about this? How about the campaign? What are you going to do for the campaign? Just knocking on some doors?
You know what? We'll knock on a lot of doors like we always do. We have a big social media presence that we've
Oh,
always
yeah.
had out there on weekends talking to people. I mean, yeah, just people like Chris Moss because he says it like it is.
That's
you know,
true.
and basically, that's all you can do. I try and make the decision that the people who put me in office want me to make, and
Yep.
that's what I can do at the end of the day.
Well, and you don't take the easy route. You
No,
make some
you
tough
get-
decisions, and
Yeah,
I think that's
you have
important.
to, and that's what it's about, and that's kind of tough sometimes with the executive branch versus legislative branch. Believe me, I don't do all the work. My department heads and other elected
yeah.
officials in the county, they're doing all the work. I get to stand there, and be the face of it.
Sure.
But there's a lot of work being done by a lot of people that work for the county.
Well, great. Chris, thanks for giving us so much time this morning.
You got
I
it.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.